We are into late summer, and September is less than 3 weeks away. The honeysuckle in the garden is still in bloom, but already the first of the leaves are lightly scattered on the ground. The upward rising energy of spring sap and early summer blossom has reached its peak, and we are slowly descending into the darker half of the year. A time of ripened fruit and falling light. A time of gathering in before our energies turn inward. I really sense these changes, and I find myself feeling both restless and reflective at this time of year. The wisdom of traditional Chinese medicine suggests that each time of year is governed by an element. We will explore these together as we move through them in turn, so that we may stay present and attuned to each season as it comes. The fifth season, late summer, is governed by the earth element. In his book, The Way of the Five Elements, John Kirkwood reminds us that when we refer to earth, we may mean a number of things. Firstly, it is the planet beneath our feet, our ancestral home for the last 4.5 billion years. Earth also refers to the soil we till to provide many forms of food, and is often referred to as Mother Earth, bearing certain nurturing, supportive qualities that sustain us. While spring and early summer involve an upward movement, a reaching towards the sun, and autumn and winter is a retreat as nature goes to ground. Late summer is somewhere in between, a centre point, the still point in the turning year. I make this reference to T.S. Eliot. At the still point of the turning world, T.S. Eliot said in Burnt Norton from the Four Quartets, at the still point of the turning world, there the dance is. This could well be all the wisdom of the Tao Te Ching distilled into poetry, and I love it. We might describe someone as down to earth, which, according to the Cambridge Dictionary, means that someone is practical, reasonable, and friendly without pretensions. To come back down to earth is to develop a realistic view of something. These are qualities that we need to explore at this time in the calendar. You may have some practical matters to attend to and work through, a situation that needs a shift in perspective. Or perhaps you need to be a good friend to yourself at this time. After an episode of stress a few years ago, I developed a way of viewing day-to-day life matters in a way similar to how the Met Office categorised the weather. I divide things into considerations, yellow, concerns, amber, and challenges, red. Considerations are the small, niggling things that I can do a lot more about, but if I let them build up, they can escalate into concerns or even challenges. Concerns are the ones to tackle. I can only handle so much of these at any given time, and they will need the most attention to prevent any further escalation. And here, much personal growth can happen. If you've ever come across solution-focused therapy, you may have heard problems being redefined as situations that need resolving. As a person prone to anxiety and worry, I know how important the words we use can be, and any dramatic or negative language can trigger stress. The inner landscape of the earth element can often assume the qualities of pensiveness, worry, and rumination. Just as the earth spins, so our minds can spiral. Such mental activity can direct a lot of our life energy, or qi, to the head. And when this happens, it's important to be able to ground or recenter ourselves. I've been feeling a real need to open the doors and windows and spend a lot more time outside. I need air and a feeling of spaciousness to clear my head. The earth element can be felt at the end of every season, and not just in the late summer. As a still point, it's also the element of transition, the hub of the wheel, around which the spokes of other elements turn. In his book, John Kirkwood invites us to consider how well we manage change and transition, as this reveals a lot about the health of our earth element and how it operates within our own life. And so, with transition in mind, I've chosen 4 special forms from Shibashi Set One. So we begin in Wuqi stance, allowing the hips and knees to soften a little into the unconditional support of the earth beneath our feet, with back upright and straight, gently lowering as if we were about to perch on the end of a table, tilting the hips slightly forward to open up and give some space to the lower back, softening the belly to receive some long, slow, deep breaths, sensing the shoulders softening, the palms softening, settling into stillness and checking in with how we feel right now. Noticing the inner weather pattern of thoughts, feelings and sensations. And I like to place a hand over the heart center, the middle dantian, as I do this, to offer some kindness to whatever I find. Commencing the form. So allowing the arms to lift gently as you breathe in, keeping the palms nice and soft. A sensation of floating slowly up, noticing that pause, and as you release the breath, gradually and gently drifting down, like autumn leaves falling softly towards the ground, and sensing a smile lifting the corners of the eyes and mouth, spreading across the cheeks. A smile that spreads a soothing warmth through the heart and across the chest, like a golden light rippling throughout the body, its goodness soaking up in every cell. separating the clouds. And this really connects with mindfulness, with thoughts and mental activity being like clouds. And behind those clouds is a clear, shimmering blue sky, always there behind this ceaseless mental activity. And in this practice, we're clearing that away and creating some space. I like to make a nice expansive gesture in this form, really spreading my arms up and out and sinking a little into the support of the ground. Working with the breath, so that as we breathe in, we're gathering up and lifting the arms into the sky. And as we release the breath, we're clearing the sky, releasing any involvement with thoughts and mental clutter. Here's what I like to call picking the heavenly peaches from the blossom tree. I love the imagery that comes with this. So, with palms outstretched in front of us, allowing a hand to draw away empty, softly reaching back towards the blossom behind us, picking a peach and gently returning as though placing it in the awaiting palm, turning the hands and repeating this gesture on the other side. The movement being guided gently by the breath. Receiving the breath as we reach for the fruit, and releasing as we return. So here I'll transition into the next form. As I turn, I'm not picking any peaches, but instead I'm taking both palms, following my gaze to look back at the moon. Sensing a lifting up as I turn back, and a sinking down into the earth's support as I return to my center. Gathering in the breath as I turn to admire the moon's silver light, and releasing the breath as I turn back. And again, I'm making another transition into the next form, moving the arms like clouds. This movement is guided by the upper elbow, so where the right arm is above, we move round towards the right, as though the elbow leads the way. I say this because my students sometimes lose their way. So allowing the highest elbow to guide the movement. And this form offers a nice rotation at the waist. So keeping the belly button facing forwards, we move on the axis of our spine, guided by the breath, not straining in any way. And a little extra favourite of mine, not part of the Shibashi forms, but something I like to call offering up the lotus flower. So starting with the backs of the hands together, and then as we lift, turning the palms towards each other to form a little bud, opening out into a lotus blossom, and offering this up to the skies. And then running our fingers through the sky, creating ripples, being generous with ourselves, drawing the clear, blue, sparkling sky energy And then reaching towards the ground, gathering up the precious earth energy and drawing it back upwards, drawing on the support of the earth. Ending the practice in the traditional way with Qigong. Placing the hands on the lower dantian, just below the belly button. And sweeping the arms up to gather in and store the energy here. So bringing the arms up to gather in and storing the energy. So with the palms gently placed one on the other over the lower dantian, releasing the breath down the arms and through the palms of the hands, nourishing our inner light. I like to imagine this inner light is a golden colour. Notice how you feel. And remember to smile.